Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Dear students, as you know, we are discussing S and P block elements of the periodic table. So far, we have discussed some basic pointers about periodic table, and I have given you an introduction of S block elements and P block elements. And I have also told you that we have to study almost all the elements which are present in the periodic table. And in order to make their study easy, as the periodic table has been divided into four blocks S, P, D, and F, we have to study S block elements and some P block elements, group number 13 and 14 in class 11th. And in 12th class, you have to study some P block elements, which include in them group number 15, 16, 17, and 18. And then we will study D and F block elements, that too in 12th class. But there are so many things which are common in, or rather I may say, which are general, which need a general description. This is why I am taking both S and P block elements together. And in order to study those common things, we take 11th and 12th class together, so that no need to use more energy rather or to consume more time. It is simply common to both the classes. This is why we are discussing those concepts in the beginning which are occurred in both the classes rather than all the periodic table. So far, I have discussed with you the electronic configuration, the rules which we use for writing down the electronic configuration. And yesterday I have told you that we are generally asked in exams to write down the electronic configuration. How electronic configuration is written, for that it is essential that we should be knowing the rules for writing the electronic configuration, which we have studied already while studying structure of atom. And now yesterday I have given you a detailed explanation about writing the electronic configuration, and we wrote down the electronic configuration of group first element. And I told you that we will go to P block. There we will take one group and we will write down its electronic configuration also. Then there are other groups which are left. Those groups, the electronic configuration of those groups will be practiced by you. You will practice yourselves so that you may get more confidence while writing electronic configuration. I am just giving you how you will be able to write down electronic configurations if asked in the examination. So, group number 15. Let me take group number 15. So you may be knowing or you may be remembering that I have told you one thing, that whenever you will be asked to write down the electronic configuration of any group, you should be knowing the elements present in that group, and you should be knowing the atomic number of those elements. So group number 15, its first element is nitrogen. This is why we also called it nitrogen family. So nitrogen, the first element. After nitrogen, there is element phosphorus. Then after phosphorus, there is arsenic. Then after arsenic, there is bismuth. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. Antimony, then there is bismuth, and then there is an unpentium. Then there is an unpentium 115. Yes. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, and unpentium. This nitrogen, it has an atomic number of 7. Phosphorus has atomic number of 15. You have to add 8 to it. And then arsenic, it has an atomic number of 33. 33, you have to add 18 to it. And then antimony, it has an atomic number of 51. You have once again add 18 to the atomic number of 30, this arsenic. There you will get the atomic number of antimony. And then you will get atomic number of 15, this bismuth, that will be 83. You have to add 32. And then you have to add 32 once again, so that you will get an atomic number of 115. So these are the atomic numbers of the elements of group 15. Now you already know how to write down the electronic configuration. I have told you that whenever you need to write down the electronic configuration, you should be knowing the subshells to which the electrons enter one after the other according to above principle. And for that I told you that you have to make the diagram. That diagram helps you to write down the electronic configuration easily. K shell 1s, L shell 2s 2p, M shell 3s 3p 3d, N shell 4s 4p 4d 4f, O shell 5s 5p 5d 5f 5g, then P shell 6s 6p 6d, then Q shell 7s 7p, etc. You have to draw the first line in this way, then other line is parallel to this very line. You will easily get the arrangement of the elements to which the electrons enter, but you have to start from above. That means first the electron will go to 1s, then to 2s, then 2p 3s, then 3p 4s, then 3d 4p 5s, then 4d 5p 6s, then 4f 5d 6p 7s, then 5f 6d 7p. Now you see, with the help of the diagram, it is very easy to reconstruct, rather to arrange the subshells in the increasing order of the atomic numbers. Now on the basis of this diagram, you can easily write down the electronic configuration of all these elements present in group number 15. So in group number 15, let us start from nitrogen. Nitrogen has atomic number 7. So first the electron will go into 1s, so it is 1s2. Then it will go to 2s, it is 2s2. So far we have filled 4 electrons, 3 are left. Those 3 electrons will go to 2p. So you will get 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So if you will write it in the form of noble gas configuration, then you will write helium. It has electronic configuration of helium, and it has then 2s and 2p3 electrons outside the helium core. So the general, this electronic configuration of nitrogen is helium, electronic configuration of helium. Then outside the helium core, outside the helium configuration, there is 2s2 and 2p3. In the same way, phosphorus has 15. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 2p6, then it is 3s2, then it will be 3p3. देखिए, 2 और 2 4, 6 10, 2 12 और 3 15. यहां तक इसके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन नियॉन के साथ मिलते जुलते हैं. So you can write its electronic configuration in this way also. Neon, then there is 3s2, then there is 3p3. Neon, 3s2, 3p3. Then there is arsenic. It has atomic number of 33. So its electronic configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Then after 3p, electron enters 4s, 4s2. After that, electron goes 3d, then it is 3d10. Then after that, electron enters 4p, it will be 4p3. Now you can count the number of electrons. 1s2, 2 and 2 are 4, 6 is 10, 2 12, 6 is 18, 18 and 2 are 20, 20 and 10 are 30, 30 and 3 are 33. One thing which you must keep in mind that this 3D, it is actually 3s, 3p, and 3d. Here, here the electron first enters 4s, then it goes to 3d. This 3d is inner shell. You can write it in this way: 3s2, 3p6, there is 3d, then after 3d there is 4s. But electron first enters 3p, then it goes to 4s. After that, electron enters 3d, then to 4p. So after, you can write electronic configuration in this way also: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p3. But you have to remember one thing, that electron after 4s doesn't directly go to 4,3, but instead it goes to 3d. But remember that this 4s and 4p, it is the valence shell, and this 3d, it is the shell inside the valence shell, which we generally call penultimate shell. So this is valence shell, ultimate shell, this is penultimate shell. That means once again the outermost electronic configuration is 4s2, 4p3, up till this 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10. So it is electronic configuration will be argon, helium 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, then it is neon 3s2, 3p3. Afterwards it is arsenic. Its electronic configuration is S4s2, 4p3. So its electronic configuration will be that of argon. Its electronic configuration will be that of argon, and after argon it has an electronic configuration of 3d10, then 4s2, then 4p3. In this way, argon has 18 electrons, so up till this it has electronic configuration of argon, then it has 3d10, 4s2, 4p3. In the same way, there is antimony, atomic number 51. You can write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10. After 3d, electron enters to, 3p6, 3 after 3p, there is 3d also, but electron will first enter to 4s. 3p, after 3p, electron will go to 4s, then the electron will enter 3d, so you will write here 3d10, then there is 4p, so it is 4p6. After 4p, electron goes to 5s, and after 5s, electron goes to 4d. So after 4p, you see here, when we will write down the exact number of subshells, then in the fourth shell there is 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f. Then there is, after that, then there is 5s. So what happens after 4p? After 4p, electron enters 5s, 5s. Then electron comes back and enters into 4d. After 5s, electron enters 4d. After 5s, then electrons 4d. After 4d, electron will enter into 5p. So it will be here 5p3. 5p3. You see, 2 and 2 are 4, 4 and 6 are 10, 10 and 2 are 12, 12 and 6 are 18, 18 and 10 are 28, 28 and 2 are 30, 30 and 6 36, 36 and 10 46, 46 and 2 48, 48 and 3 51, 51. So, so you will see that from 1s2 to 4p6, it has electronic configuration of xenon. क्रिप्टॉन, आर्गन के बाद क्रिप्टॉन आता है. It has electronic configuration of krypton, helium, neon, argon, and krypton. Up to this 4s2, 4p6, it is krypton, and after krypton, it has electronic configuration of 4d10. 4d10. There is 4f, but that is vacant, so no need to write down the vacant orbital. After 4d, electron enters 5s, then 5p. So the electronic configuration of antimony will be electronic configuration of krypton and 4d10, 5s2, and 5p3. Then there is bismuth. You can also write down the electronic configuration in both these two forms. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. There is 3d also, but electron first enters 4s, then it enters 3d, then 4p6, then there is 4d, there is also 4f, but after 4p, electron enters first 5s, so it is 5s2, then it is 4d10. After 4d, electron enters 5p, it will be now 5p6. After 5p, electron enters 6s, but remember that after 5s, 5p, there is also 5d, then there is also 5f. But electron doesn't prefer to enter 5d and 5f. After 5p, electron enters 6s, so it will be 6s2. After 6s, electron enters 4f. You see, electron enters 4f. That is, it is inner pin ultimate shell. 6 is ultimate shell. 6 is ultimate shell, outermost shell. Inside 6 is shell number 5, that's pin ultimate shell. And inside 5 there is 4, shell number 4, that is pin ultimate shell. That's inner pin ultimate shell. So after 6s, electron enters into inner pin ultimate shell. It will be here 4f14. 4f. After 4f, electron enters 5d. So this is 5d. It will be now 5d10. And after 5d, electron enters 6p. So it is here 6p3. 6p3. Now you can count the number of electrons which you have arranged. देखिए 2 और 2 4 और 6 हो गए 10, 10 और 2 हो गए 12, 12 और 6 हो गए 18, 18 और 10 हो गए 28, 28 और 2 हो गए 30, 30 और 6 हो गए 36, 36 और 10 हो गए 46, 46 और 14, 46 और 14 हो गए 60, 62, 68, 60, 18, 68 and 10 हो गए 78, 78 and 2 हो गए 80, 80 and 3 हो गए 83. तो इसमें आप देखेंगे कि ये जो 5s2, 5p6 है, यहां तक जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है, इट विल रिजेंबल xenon. यहां तक xenon की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन होगी. और फिर xenon की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के बाद यहां आता है 5d10, फिर आता है 6s2, फिर आएगा 6p3. तो ये है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ नोबल गैसेस. इसी तरह से आप इस एलिमेंट की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन भी लिख सकते हैं. अनपेंटियम ये सिंथेटिक एलिमेंट है और फिर रेडियो एक्टिव एलिमेंट है. इसकी शॉर्ट लाइफ पीरियड जो है वेरी शॉर्ट है, बट इट इज देयर. You can easily write down the electronic configuration of this element also. So in general, you see, in case of these group 15 elements, you have here 2s2, 2p3 and the outermost shell. Here you have 3s2, 3p3 and the outermost shell. And in arsenic, you have 4s2 and 4p3 in the outermost shell. And antimony, you have 5s2 and 5p3. and bismuth you have 6s2 and 6p3. That is in the outermost shell. Outermost shell is generally represented by N. So here it is ns2 and np3. ns2 np3. N represents outermost shell. In case of nitrogen, it is shell number 2, 2s2, 2p3. In case of phosphorus, it is 3s3p3. And arsenic, it is 4s4p3. And antimony, it is 5s5p3. And bismuth, it is 6s2, 6p3. And inside it, there is noble gas configuration. Noble gas configuration, that is noble gas. Then afterwards there is ns2 np3. But you observe an element having atomic number more than 15, there is also 3d10 outside the noble gas. 3d, you may write 3d 0 to 10, 3d 0 और 10. यानी ये जो है एक्चुअली यहाँ पर 3d ऑर्बिटल्स में कोई इलेक्ट्रॉन है ही नहीं, इसीलिए 3d 0 है. मगर नाइट्रोजन में तो d ऑर्बिटल है ही नहीं, फास्फोरस में d ऑर्बिटल है, 3s 3p 3d यहां पर है, बट 3d में कोई इलेक्ट्रॉन नहीं है, इसलिए मैं यहां लिखा 3d 0. एंड बाकी जो है जितने भी एलिमेंट है जिनमें d ऑर्बिटल फिल्ड है, तो उन सबों में d ऑर्बिटल जो है वो कंप्लीटली फिल्ड हैं, इसलिए नोबल गैस के बाहर 3d10 ns2 np3 ये इनकी जनरल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है. क्योंकि आप जानते हैं प्रॉपर्टीज डिसाइड करने में आउटर मोस्ट शेल का रोल बनता है. आउटर मोस्ट शेल जो होता है इसी के इलेक्ट्रॉन हिस्सा लेते हैं रिएक्शंस में, प्रॉपर्टीज डिसाइड करने में. क्योंकि इन सारे एलिमेंट्स की आउटर मोस्ट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन सेम है, जो मैंने लिखा था ns2 np3. सेम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन होने के सबब इन सबों की केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज जो हैं वो एक जैसी हैं. तो इस तरह से जो बाकी ग्रुप्स बचते हैं जिनकी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मैंने नहीं लिखी, मैंने एस ब्लॉक में से एक ग्रुप की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिखी और पी ब्लॉक में से मैंने एक ग्रुप की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिखी. बाकी जितने भी ग्रुप्स बनते हैं इस डायग्राम का इस्तेमाल करके आप किसी भी ग्रुप की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिख सकते हैं. और फिर आप देखेंगे कि एक ही ग्रुप में जितने भी एलिमेंट आते हैं उन सबों की वैलेंस शेल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन सेम होगी और वैलेंस शेल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन सेम होने के सबब इनकी प्रॉपर्टी जो होती हैं वो सेम होती है. ठीक है ना. तो इस तरह से हमारा एक कंसेप्ट जो है वो कंप्लीट हो रहा है, दैट इज अबाउट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन. नाउ यू कैन राइट डाउन द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ एनी एलिमेंट. और इस इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के साथ अब जितनी भी दूसरी प्रॉपर्टीज रिलेटेड हैं आप उन प्रॉपर्टीज के बारे में आसानी के साथ बात कर सकते हैं. तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के बाद हमारे पास एक और चीज है जो जनरल में हमें डिस्कस करनी है, विच वी हैव टू डिस्कस इन जनरल, जो आप सबों के लिए एक जैसा इंपॉर्टेंट है, एस ब्लॉक में भी पी ब्लॉक में भी. तो वो है ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट. ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट ऑफ एलिमेंट्स जो है वो भी हमें डिस्कस करना पड़ता है और अक्सर बेशतर एग्जाम्स में ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है. आप देख लेंगे अगर आप पिछले साल के पेपर्स कंसल्ट करेंगे तो एस ब्लॉक और पी ब्लॉक में अक्सर इस तरह क्वेश्चन आता है, राइट डाउन द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ ग्रुप. ग्रुप नंबर दिया होता है, चाहे ग्रुप नंबर फर्स्ट हो, 5 हो, 7 हो, या हम ये कह सकते हैं ग्रुप नंबर फर्स्ट हो, सेकंड हो, 13 हो, 15 हो, 16 हो, 17 हो, किसी भी ग्रुप की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिखनी होती है तो वहां पर जनरली ग्रुप का नंबर दिया जाता है, ग्रुप का नंबर दिया जाता है. फिर आपको खुद ही डिसाइड करना है कि उस ग्रुप पे कौन कौन से एलिमेंट होते हैं और उसकी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिखनी होती है. और उसी के साथ अक्सर बेशतर क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है, व्हाट इज द ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट ऑफ द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ द ग्रुप. यानी जिस ग्रुप की आपने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन लिखी है इस ग्रुप के एलिमेंट्स की ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट क्या है. जहां तक ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट का ताल्लुक है, ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट जो है ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉपर्टी है जिसके बारे में हमें डिस्कस करना है. तो ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट का जहां तक ताल्लुक है, ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट इज द चार्ज. charge which an atom has or appears to have and its combined state। एलिमेंट जो है जब ये कंबाइन करता है, जब एलिमेंट कंबाइन करता है अदर एलिमेंट्स के साथ कंपाउंड बनाने के लिए, तो फिर उस कंबाइंड स्टेट में किसी भी एलिमेंट पे कौन सी और कितनी चार्ज है, उसी चार्ज को हम नाम देते हैं ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट। मिसाल के तौर पर अगर आप सोडियम क्लोराइड की बात लेंगे, सोडियम क्लोराइड में दो एलिमेंट कंबाइन हुए हैं, सोडियम और क्लोरीन। जैसा आप जानते हैं सोडियम क्लोराइड जो है, it is formed by the transference of electrons from sodium to chlorine। तो उस वजह से क्या होता है, सोडियम develops a +1 charge on it and chlorine develops a -1 charge on it। तो आप देख रहे हैं इन कंबाइंड स्टेट सोडियम एटम जो है it has a charge of +1, so this +1 is the oxidation state, it is the oxidation state of sodium in sodium chloride। इसी तरह से -1 जो है it is the oxidation state of chlorine in sodium chloride। तो इससे पहले हम वैलेंसी का तस्वीर भी पढ़ चुके हैं। वैलेंसी में के बारे में हमने बताया है that is the combining capacity of an element। एक एलिमेंट कितने, इसकी कंबाइनिंग कैपेसिटी क्या है, तो उस हिसाब से हम इसकी वैलेंसी बता रहे हैं। मगर वैलेंसी और ऑक्सीजन स्टेट जो है इसमें फर्क ये है कि वैलेंसी में हम सिर्फ नंबर का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, चार्ज का एक्सप्रेस करना वहां पर कोई जरूरी नहीं है, बल्कि चार्ज के बगैर ही हम कहते हैं। जैसे हम यहाँ कह सकते हैं सोडियम जो है इसकी वैलेंसी एक है, क्लोरीन की भी वैलेंसी एक ही है। मगर जहां तक ऑक्सीजन स्टेट का ताल्लुक है, इसमें हम साथ साथ चार्ज भी बता रहे, क्योंकि एक्चुअली चार्ज जो एक एटम पे है इन कंबाइंड स्टेट, उसी को हम ऑक्सीजन स्टेट कहते हैं। एक और एग्जांपल आप ले लीजिए, फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे पास कंपाउंड है कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड CaO। इस कंपाउंड में आप देखेंगे कि जो कैल्शियम है इस पे +2 चार्ज है और ऑक्सीजन जो है इस पे -2 चार्ज है। तो इस तरह से ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट ऑफ कैल्शियम जो है दैट इज +2 एंड ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट ऑफ ऑक्सीजन जो है दैट इज -2। एक और इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यह है यहां पर इस ऑक्सीजन स्टेट में, जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं यहां पर जो कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड बनता है, इट इज फॉर्म्ड बाय द ट्रांसफरेंस ऑफ 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स फ्रॉम कैल्शियम टू ऑक्सीजन। इसलिए यहां पर ये जो चार्ज है इट इज अ रियल चार्ज ऑन द 2 एटम्स। मगर कभी कभी ऐसा होता है, जैसे आपने देखा है, पढ़ा है आपने, कि कंपाउंड हमेशा बाय द ट्रांसफरेंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स नहीं बनते हैं। कंपाउंड्स अक्सर कंपाउंड्स में शेयरिंग ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हो जाती है, यानी जिसको हम कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड कहते हैं। कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड जब बनता है तो कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड फॉर्मेशन में ट्रांसफरेंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स नहीं होती है। तो इसलिए जब ट्रांसफरेंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स नहीं हुई तो चार्ज भी डेवलप नहीं हुआ, मगर वहां पर भी हम ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हैं। मिसाल के तौर पर हमारे पास एक कंपाउंड है HCl। आप जानते हैं ये HCl बनता है when an electron is shared between hydrogen and chlorine। तो यहां पर जो कोई चार्ज नहीं है, मगर फिर भी हम हाइड्रोजन को +1 ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट दे रहे हैं और क्लोरीन को -1 ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट दे रहे हैं। ऐसा हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? दरअसल ये जो ऑक्सीजन स्टेट है, जैसे मैंने डेफिनेशन में बताया, चार्ज विच एन एटम हैज और अपीयर्स टू हैव, यानी हमें कोई ना कोई चार्ज देखनी है कि किस एटम पे क्या चार्ज हो सकती है, इसका ऑक्सीजन स्टेट क्या होगा। अगर चार्ज है नहीं तो कैसी चार्ज लगती है उस पे। जैसे HCl में आपने पढ़ा है, HCl जो है इट इज अ पोलर कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड। तो पोलर कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड में क्या होता है, वहां पर जो इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर शेयर होता है, दैट इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर इज शिफ्टेड मोर टुवर्ड्स द एटम which is more electronegative। तो HCl में चूंकि क्लोरीन मोर इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव है देन हाइड्रोजन, इसलिए क्लोरीन इस इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर को अपनी तरफ ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट करेगा, जिसकी वजह से क्लोरीन पे थोड़ी बहुत नेगेटिव चार्ज डेवलप होगी जिससे हम पार्शियल नेगेटिव चार्ज कहते हैं, और हाइड्रोजन पे थोड़ी बहुत पार्शियल पॉजिटिव चार्ज डेवलप होगी। तो इसलिए जब यहाँ पर हाइड्रोजन जो है, it has got some positive charge on it. This is why we give it an oxygen state of +1. While as chlorine, it has developed a small negative charge on it. It is given an oxygen state of -1. Let me tell you in simple ways that whenever a covalent bond is formed between two different atoms, ये बात नोट कीजिए, between two different atoms, then the atom which is more electronegative is given negative oxygen state, and the atom which is electropositive, rather less electronegative, that is given plus oxidation state. And the value of oxygen state depends upon the number of electron pairs used by these electrons, rather shared by these electrons. You see, in HCl, 2 electrons are shared. That means 1 pair is shared. This is why we give an oxygen state of +1 to hydrogen and -1 to chlorine. If there will be atoms sharing 2 electrons, for example, let me give an example of water. In water, oxygen shares 2 electrons with 2 hydrogen atoms. That means one hydrogen shares only 1 electron. So hydrogen will have oxygen state of 1, and this hydrogen will also have oxygen state of 1 because it also shares only 1 electron pair. And it shares, these 2 hydrogens share 2 electron pairs with 1 oxygen. One oxygen shares 2 electron pairs with 2 hydrogen atoms. So since oxygen shares 2 electrons, so this oxygen will have an oxygen state of 2. Now you have to decide whether there will be negative or positive charge on hydrogen oxygen. Which charge will be there on these two atoms? Since oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen, so oxygen will develop a charge of -2. It will be given an oxygen state of -2, while as hydrogen it will be given an oxygen state of +1. And remember one thing, if a covalent bond is formed between two similar atoms, for example, there is hydrogen H2. This H2 is formed when an electron pair is shared between two hydrogen atoms. Since both the atoms are equally electronegative, so there isn't any chance of development of charge on either of the hydrogen atoms. So in this case, hydrogen is given an oxygen state of 0. In the same way, in O2, two electron pairs are shared between two oxygen atoms. Since both the oxygen atoms are equally electronegative, so here in O2, oxygen has this electronegativity, this oxygen state of 0. So you see that the oxygen state of elements, especially these covalent compounds, in covalent compounds, the oxygen state of elements varies. It varies. It can have one value in one compound, and it can have another value in another compound. Let me quote one more example. For example, you are having a compound CH4, then you are having a compound CCl4. Okay? Then you are having a compound CH2Cl2. CH2Cl2. Suppose I will ask you to calculate the oxygen state of carbon in these three compounds. And the first compound, it is CH4. It is methane. One carbon shares 4 electron pairs with 4 hydrogen atoms. And here you see that carbon shares 4 electron pairs. So carbon should have an oxidation number of 4. And each hydrogen shares only 1 electron. So the oxygen state of hydrogen will be 1. Now you have to decide the nature of the charge. Since carbon is more electronegative than hydrogen, carbon is more electronegative than hydrogen. More electronegative atom is given negative oxygen state. So the oxygen state of carbon will be -4, and that of hydrogen it will be +1. So in this compound, carbon has an oxidation state of +4. Now let us take another compound, CCl4. Here once again, carbon shares 4 electrons with 4 chlorine atoms. So the oxygen state of carbon is once again 4. And chlorine, since it shares only 1 electron with carbon, so the oxygen state of chlorine will be 1. But chlorine is more electronegative than carbon, so chlorine will be given negative oxygen state, while hydrogen will be given plus oxidation state. So in this first compound, it was -4. In CH4, carbon has an oxygen state of -4, while in CCl4, carbon has an oxygen state of +4. In the same way, there is another compound CH2Cl2. Let me write it here. CH2Cl2. CH2Cl2. Here carbon shares 4 electron pairs. It shares 4 electron pairs with 4 atoms, 2 of hydrogen and 2 of chlorine. Since chlorine, you see, it is more electronegative than carbon. So chlorine will have an oxygen state of -1. And this chlorine will also have oxygen state of -1. And because of these two chlorine atoms, carbon will have oxygen state of +2. And now carbon shares 1 electron with hydrogen and 1 with another hydrogen. That means hydrogen, it will have oxygen state of +1 because hydrogen is less electronegative than carbon. And because of these two hydrogen atoms, carbon will have an oxidation state of -2. Because of two chlorine atoms, it will have an oxygen state of +2. And because of two hydrogen atoms, it will have an oxygen state of -2. So this +2 and -2, they will cancel each other and carbon will have an oxidation state of 0. So you see, in these three compounds, though in all the three compounds, carbon forms 4 covalent bonds, but its oxygen state varies from one compound to another compound. And methane, it has an oxygen state of -4, whereas in CCl4, carbon tetrachloride, it has an oxygen state of +4, whereas in CH2Cl2, it has an oxygen state of 0. So in covalent compounds, wherever covalent compounds will be formed, there you have to calculate the oxygen state of the elements most carefully. You have to keep in mind the oxygen state of the elements which are attached to that very atom. And in case of ionic compounds, it is very easy to calculate the oxygen state, because in ionic compounds you have to see what is the actual charge present on the atom in the combined state. That will depend upon the number of electrons lost or gained by the atom. But in case of covalent compounds, you see this oxygen state depends upon the number of electron pairs shared and also on the electronegativity of the atom with which it combines. So you have to keep in mind and have to calculate the oxygen states of the compounds. So it is some introduction regarding oxygen state. Now we have to discuss the oxygen state of different elements and different blocks, S block and P block. So we have to discuss these things, but it will not be proper to discuss these today because the lesson has already lengthened. It will be later on difficult to upload. So for today, it is sufficient. You have to remember the oxidation states of the elements and how these oxidation states are calculated. I have given you some idea, though there are some rules for calculating the oxidation states, and the students which are in class 12th, they have already studied them in 11th class while discussing the redox reactions. But in case of 11th class students, we haven't yet discussed redox reactions. Otherwise, it would have been more clear to you. You would have also learned how to calculate the oxidation states of elements, what are the various rules for them. But I have given you a simple idea, simple concept of oxidation state, and by using this concept, you can easily calculate the oxidation state of any element. It is not difficult for you. So inshallah, tomorrow we will take two groups, one group from S block and one group from P block, to discuss the oxidation status of the elements. So for today, it is sufficient. I hope you might have understood all this discussion what we did. If you feel any difficulty anywhere, you can directly contact me on my WhatsApp number, or you can call me directly. I will be inshallah available to you. So for today, this is sufficient. Thank you very much.